Hey guys, welcome back to Calgary Barbell for the first equipped training log as I start my training for Worlds. We're gonna have 2 full training cycles, a little bit of a deload in between, but that's kind of how the structure for my training for Worlds is gonna go. As far as recapping this week, this has honestly been the best start to a training cycle that I've had in a long, long time. It's kind of hard to compare equipped with a raw focus training cycle, but I think this is going to be as successful a cycle, if not maybe a little bit more, than my training cycle for War of the West, which I was really, really happy with. So to start the week off, my equipped squat, I worked up to 310 kilos for 3 singles, each at around an 8. I think my very last single was a little bit misgrooved, maybe a little bit tougher than an 8. The squat suit definitely fits a little bit tighter than I'm used to. I'm a little bit bigger right now. This is way tighter. So that logically follows. I also switched back to using the THP wraps because I found I'm able to get more revolutions and use the wrap more effectively because it's a little bit stretchier and because I'm wrapping myself. My raw squat this week, I worked up to 255 for a single. Squats have been pretty pain-free since I started this block, so I'm really happy about that. And I think War of the West training block, I started at like 230, so I'm already 20 kilos up on that. So I'm stoked to see progress on both raw and equipped lifts this training cycle. As far as the bench goes, I was into my brand new bench shirt on Wednesday and hit a 10 kilo all-time PR, touched and pressed. It was definitely not an 8. We're looking at probably about a 10 on that. I don't know if I could have doubled it, but I think bench shirted work is a little finicky in that sense, so it's tough to get something to touch that you can also press that's an 8. So that's 215 kilos for single there. I think it was 180 or 182 for my set of 5. My raw bench went really well. I started at 150 kilos and got a lot of shit from the guys I was lifting with saying it was way too light and definitely not an 8, but I know my bench and that was an 8 for me. It goes from an 8 to a 10 real fast. Next up would be deadlifts. So deadlifts also went really, really well. Getting used to hook grip again. Tore a little chunk out of my thumb there for the first time ever. But that's 3 equipped singles at, I think I did 340, 345 maybe, and then 350 for 2 singles. The first single at 350 was pretty sloppy. I didn't really lock my back in, I think, in part because the suit is tighter and I'm bigger. It's harder for me to get that last little bit of extension, and I really paid for it on that first single, but definitely dialed it in for the second single at 350 and it flew and locked out nice and clean. There we go. The set of 5 at 310 also went really, really well. I think that might be a PR. And raw deadlift was 335, I think, for a single this week. But those are highlights of training. To kick off the sort of equipped lifting series that we're going to be doing as I prepare for Worlds, I wanted to talk a little bit about my equipment, the size I wear, the cut, etc. And just, I've had a lot of questions, a lot of people ask me about it, so I'm just going to kind of lay it all out there for you now. We'll start with the squat suit. So what I use for my squat suit is a size 44 wide stance Super Centurion. The Super Centurion versus the Centurion, I think the Super is just a little bit stiffer material. I don't know that they're cut much differently, but I can't really speak to many squat and deadlift suits because I've only used one of each. I do have the straps taken in, as you can see a little bit there. They were super, super loose. They're still pretty loose when compared to my deadlift suit. But that's the suit that I use there, is a 44. And like I said previously, I'm using the THP wraps. These are probably the second stiffest wraps that Titan makes. I used the Signature Golds for a while, but I found I couldn't get as many revolutions, so there was you know, maybe a foot or 6 inches, 8 inches of slack sticking out when I tied my wraps off. And that just felt like it was just wasted material. So I've switched back to these THPs. I can get a little bit, yeah, a couple more revolutions out of them, which makes it feel a little bit better. For the deadlift suit, I use a Velocity, also from Titan. This is a size 44 sumo. Not really much to say about that. I think the straps are a little bit wider than the squat suit. And I'll maybe give you guys my measurements as well so you can see how my body size compares to the suit sizes that I wear. And my brand new Titan Katana. So as you guys know, I've been through a ton of bench shirts. I started with a 50 Super Katana regular cut that was like a 3rd generation hand-me-down, the red one you've seen me compete in twice now. The first shirt that I got from Strong Arm Sport was the Titan 46 low cut Super Katana, and that thing was just a hog. It was a pig. I couldn't touch anything in it. I got 230 about that close, but I think any more and it just would have dumped and been catastrophic. So I went up to a 52 at one point, 52 Super Katana regular cut, I believe. And that thing was just, it worked really well for a little while, but I very quickly was getting more out of a slingshot than I was out of this shirt. So what I've been trying to do is to try and, as a novice lifter, we generally want a larger chest plate, so the size of the shirt will correlate specifically with that, and tighter sleeves. So what I did to all those other shirts that were bigger sizes was I got them in bigger sizes, so the chest plate was bigger, I could get a little bit of a touch easier, I could get a touch a little bit easier. And then what I'd do is I'd get the seam on the sleeves taken in so they fit a little bit tighter there. This new shirt, however, is a 48. It's a regular katana, so I think the material has a little bit more give to it. The collar's not quite as aggressive. You can see it's a pretty high scoop there. But the sleeves actually fit perfectly on the stock. I haven't had to do any modifications to it yet. And this is the shirt that I got a 10 kilo touch and press PR with on Wednesday, so I'm pretty stoked about that. So if you guys are wondering how those sizes I mentioned for my suits and shirts match up to the dimensions of my body, I'll just do a quick measure now. I think, so I said I had a 48 Super Katana. I'm relaxed, I'm about 49 3/4, 50 in the chest. And with the Titan sizes, that's what it'll go off, is inches around the chest. And then for the suits, it'll be inches around the hips. If you guys go on their sizing charts, I think Inzer and them do things a little bit differently, but, and then hip measurement, I'm 44.5, 45 inches. So pretty true to size on the squat and deadlift suits. I think for me, that was pretty instrumental in me being able to figure it out as quickly and as well as I did. So, you know, if it's your first time, you might even want to go a little bit less aggressively, especially with the deadlift suit. I find a lot of people, especially if you have any issue keeping your back tight or getting a good neutral position, that deadlift suit's just gonna make that worse. But we'll talk a lot more about equipment and the technique involved and that kind of stuff as this series progresses. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a quick run through of what I use. Again, we're going to be doing questions of the day with these training logs, so feel free to ask some questions in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned. This cycle is going to be awesome. We're going to be hitting some heavy weights, and leave a like if you liked it. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time.